Sarajevo. 11:15 in the morning, the 28th of June, 1914, an open-topped car carrying the most important couple in an empire takes a wrong turn into a narrow street and stops. The driver has made a mistake. He begins to reverse, and by pure catastrophic chance, the car stalls for a few seconds directly in front of a 19-year-old boy holding a pistol. An assassin who, minutes earlier, believed his chance was gone and had drifted to this very corner by accident. He cannot believe his luck. He steps forward and fires twice. In those 2 seconds, 37 million people are sentenced to death. Because the man slumping in that car is the heir to the throne of Austria-Hungary, and his murder will set fire to the entire world. His name is Archduke Franz Ferdinand, and the story of how a wrong turn started the deadliest war humanity had ever seen begins with a marriage nobody wanted. Franz Ferdinand was not supposed to be the heir at all. He inherited the position by a chain of deaths: an emperor's son who shot himself, a father who drank bad water and died. Suddenly, this stiff, unloved archduke stood next in line to rule 50 million people across a patchwork empire of a dozen quarreling nationalities. And then he committed the one unforgivable sin. He fell in love with the wrong woman. Her name was Sophie. She was a countess, noble, but not royal enough for the rigid Habsburg court. They forbade the marriage. Franz Ferdinand refused to give her up, and in the end the old emperor allowed it, but only as a morganatic marriage. The punishment was cruel and public. Sophie could never share his rank, never ride beside him in the royal carriage, never sit near him at official events. For 14 years, she was humiliated at every state function in Vienna. But there was one loophole. When Franz Ferdinand traveled in a purely military role, protocol relaxed, and Sophie could finally sit at his side. So, when he was invited to inspect the army in Bosnia, a province Austria had swallowed just 6 years earlier, he saw a rare chance to honor his wife in public. The date they chose to arrive in Sarajevo was the 28th of June, their 14th wedding anniversary. It was also, for the Serbs of Bosnia, the most sacred and sorrowful day in their calendar. And waiting in the crowd that morning were 7 young men who believed the Archduke's empire was a prison and who had come to kill him. They belonged to a movement called Young Bosnia, armed and trained by a shadowy Serbian secret society known as the Black Hand. Their weapons were spread down the route of the motorcade, bombs and pistols, one assassin after another, lining the riverside road called the Appel Quay. It should have been impossible for Franz Ferdinand to survive. It very nearly was. At 10:10, as the motorcade rolled along the river, one of the young men hurled a bomb straight at the Archduke's car. Franz Ferdinand saw it coming and swatted it away with his arm. It bounced off the folded roof, rolled under the car behind, and exploded, wounding around a dozen people. The bomber swallowed poison and leapt into the river to die. But the poison was old and only made him vomit, and the river was barely ankle deep. He was dragged out and arrested. The Archduke was untouched, and the rest of the assassins, their ambush in chaos, lost their nerve and melted into the crowd. The plot had failed. The motorcade sped to the town hall, where a shaken Franz Ferdinand cut off the mayor's cheerful welcome speech. Then he made a fateful, gallant decision. He would change his plans and go to the hospital to visit the men wounded by the bomb. It was a decent human choice. It killed him, because in the chaos, one crucial detail was never passed on. The drivers were not told the route had changed. So, as the motorcade set off again, Franz Ferdinand's driver, Leopold Leuker, followed the original plan and turned right, off the safe riverside road, into the narrow lane of Franz Josef Street. General Potiorek, riding in the car, shouted that it was the wrong way. Leuker braked and stopped and began to reverse, and the engine stalled. Standing on that very corner, outside a delicatessen, was Gavrilo Princip. 19 years old, sick with tuberculosis, he had believed the plot was over and drifted there almost by accident. Now the open car carrying his target sat motionless, an arm's length away. He raised his pistol and fired 2 shots into the stopped car. The first struck Sophie in the abdomen. The second hit Franz Ferdinand in the neck, severing the jugular. As his wife slumped against him, the dying Archduke used his last conscious words not for himself, but for her.
Sophie, Sophie, do not die. Stay alive for our children.
Both were dead within the hour. Princip turned the pistol on himself, but the crowd wrestled it away. At his trial, the frail teenager showed no regret for the man, only for the woman he had not meant to hit.
I'm a Yugoslav nationalist. I aimed to free all of us from Austria. I did not wish to kill Sophie.
Too young to hang, he was sentenced to 20 years. He died in his cell of tuberculosis 4 years later, weighing under 90 pounds. And then the machine no one could stop began to turn. Austria-Hungary blamed Serbia and, backed by Germany, issued a crushing ultimatum. Serbia was tied to Russia. Russia was tied to France. Germany was ringed by both. And when Germany marched through Belgium, it dragged in Britain and its empire. One by one, in a matter of days, the great powers honored their alliances like dominoes falling. Exactly 1 month after 2 bullets in Sarajevo, Europe was at war. A war that would kill some 17 million people, topple 4 empires, and plant the seeds of an even greater catastrophe 20 years later. A driver took a wrong turn. A car stalled. A boy who had given up looked up. And the 20th century, with all its horror, began on a street corner in Sarajevo, over a marriage the court thought beneath them on a couple's wedding anniversary. This was the story of Franz Ferdinand, told the Sankofa way. Go back and get it. If it moved you, tell us in the comments whose story we should tell next. Until then, stay upright.